and the warm water to a jug, give it a stir up and set it aside somewhere warm for about 10 minutes. In a large bowl, add your sugar, salt, eggs, 2 cups of flour and your yeast mixture. Then with nice clean hands, just go in, start mixing it up with just your fingertips. Mix it until it's kind of like a gloop texture, and then add in half a cup of flour at a time and mix again with just your fingertips in circular motions or figure of 8. Repeat this process until the mixture just starts to pull together as a dough. You may not need all the flour at this point, so just kind of do it by eye. I used 2 extra cups on top of the 2 cups I already had. At this point, scrape all the excess mixture off your hands and then go wash them, get them nice and clean for the next stage. As you can see, the mixture is ever so slightly wet still, so add in another half cup of flour and give that a mix up. Try not to squeeze the mixture at this point, because the more you squeeze it, the chewier the dough is going to get, and you don't want that at all, so just make sure you're using your fingertips. Time to wash your hands again. Then sprinkle out about 1/4 of a cup of flour onto the work surface, tip the dough out and start kneading very, very gently. From here, start kneading the dough for about 6 to 8 minutes using the palm of your hand in circular motions. Make sure you turn the dough regularly as you're kneading, just to get the elasticity through it. This process might seem daunting to some, but honestly just keep at it, because the more you work it, the nicer and softer the dough is going to be. As you can see, I started using the palm of my hand and using that to kind of knead it through. At this point, make sure you try and incorporate all the excess flour that's on your work surface, just kneading as you go in circular motions. Continue kneading for about 5 more minutes. You can tell when the dough's just about ready when you press it gently and it springs back. If it goes in and doesn't spring back, you need to continue kneading. As you can see, my mixture's not quite there yet. I added 1 more tablespoon of flour and started kneading that through, just to help bring it together a bit more. Continue to knead for another 1 to 2 minutes. Perfect, it's a thumbs up from me. Gently place this mixture back into the bowl you were previously working in. Set it aside in a warm area for 30 minutes. For the filling, melt down the butter and then set it aside. Then in a small bowl, add in your brown sugar and your cinnamon and just mix it together. Line a baking sheet with some parchment and set aside. Once your dough's doubled in size, sprinkle a little bit of flour on your work surface, pour out the dough, and then I sprinkled a little bit more flour just on top. Now start rolling out your dough. I did mine about 30 centimetres by 12 centimetres, keeping it rectangular, turning it regularly and working very gently. When your dough is nice and rectangular, start spreading over the melted butter. Sprinkle over your brown sugar and cinnamon mixture and make sure it's even. Here comes the fun part. So from side to side, very gently but tightly start rolling your dough up. After each roll, use your excess butter to spread over the mixture and then start rolling again. Use an adult's help at this point and start portioning up the cinnamon rolls into equal parts. Then take each roll and gently just make sure it's circular, flatten it slightly and then place on your baking sheet. Once your sheet is full of these beautiful looking cinnamon rolls, place aside in a warm area for about 20 minutes. Once risen, take the excess melted butter from before and just spread over lightly. Then place in the oven for 18 to 20 minutes at 350 Fahrenheit. So once your cinnamon rolls are now cooling, time to make the icing. So for this, I used 3/4 of a cup of powdered sugar and 2 tablespoons of milk, and then I basically just mixed it together until it was nice and smooth. As you can see, it's a perfect consistency, so it's not too thick and it's not too thin. If it is one or the other, just add either powdered sugar or a bit more milk just to get the correct consistency. Now just glaze your cinnamon buns with the perfect icing and you're in for a real treat. And just to finish things off, did you hear about Dwayne Johnson and the cinnamon bun? They say it's rock and roll!